and thank you for being here today. My name is Brendan Ozawa de Silva. I serve as Associate Director for the Sea Learning Program at Emory University at the Center for Contemplative Science and Compassion-Based Ethics. And I'm here in lieu of our Executive Director, Losang Tenzin Negi, who could not be with us here today, but will be rejoining us later for the launch. It is my honor and privilege to be able to welcome His Holiness the Dalai Lama, distinguished guests, and esteemed representatives from the media to the global launch of the Sea Learning Program, the culmination of more than 2 decades of collaboration between Your Holiness and Emory University. As you are aware, the main launch event will begin tomorrow and continue through the next day, April 6th, here at the Andaz Hotel. Before we begin, I'd like to briefly provide some context for this launch. Sea Learning stands for Social, Emotional, and Ethical Learning. It is a K-12 program developed at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia, USA, at the request of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and with his generous support. The university's relationship with His Holiness goes back to 1998, when His Holiness presided over the establishment of the Emory-Tibet Partnership. Since then, Emory has developed a number of programs with the help and guidance of His Holiness. These include the Cognitively Based Compassion Training Program, or CBCT, which is a secular and research-based program based on the Tibetan tradition of mind training called Lojong, that uses contemplative exercises to enhance and expand one's compassion. Additionally, the Robert A. Paul Emory Tibet Science Initiative is a comprehensive program integrating contemporary science training into the core monastic curriculum for both Tibetan monks and nuns here in India. The Sea Learning Program is the most recent of these collaborative efforts and will undoubtedly be the most far-reaching. This program brings the latest innovations in social and emotional learning, systems thinking, compassion and ethics, attention training, and trauma and resilience-informed education together in a single comprehensive package for teachers and schools, with the intention of realizing His Holiness's vision for a holistic education of heart and mind. We're deeply grateful that His Holiness is here with us for this press conference and to preside over the global launch of the Sea Learning Program, as he has inspired and guided us through every step of this undertaking. Sea Learning consists of a framework that communicates the philosophical and pedagogical foundations of the program, as well as a curriculum that is tailored for different age levels, and an online platform for preparing and supporting educators and schools. All these materials are made globally available for free, thanks to the generous support of His Holiness. The Sea Learning curriculum and educator companion volumes will be formally unveiled tomorrow by His Holiness, but we are pleased to have some advanced press copies for you to view today in the back following the press conference. These are available now in 12 languages, including English and the 6 UN languages. The format for today is as follows. We will first hear remarks from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, followed by remarks via teleconference from 2 of our distinguished senior advisors and distinguished leaders in the field of social and emotional learning, Dr. Daniel Goleman and Ms. Linda Lantieri, who unfortunately could not be with us in person today, but are joining us via video conference. After that, Professor Kimberly Schernert-Reichel of the University of British Columbia, one of the world's foremost researchers in the area of social and emotional education and another key advisor for our program, will also share some thoughts. Dr. Robert Rösser, who is also going to be on the program and also one of our advisors, is only flying in this evening, so he will join us for the launch tomorrow. Following these remarks, we will open the floor to questions from the media. So, Your Holiness, I'd like to invite you to begin the proceedings by sharing your thoughts on the education of heart and mind.
The main reason no adequate, no guarantee to bring happy world. Because ultimately, human compassion, as I mentioned earlier, is key factor for happiness. So therefore, in education should include education about our warm-heartedness. Although all religious tradition carry the same message, but then today's world about over billion human being, no faith. So these people sometimes may feel, oh, compassion, these things are religious matter. I have no interest. So now, India's tradition, over 3,000 years, a secular concept, whether believer or non-believer, believe this or that religion. As a person, more as the moral principle, like that. So, and then very word secular, some my friend say some also a different because of the opinion. So I don't know. So this kind of meeting, you see, can discuss at the proper word. The thing is, that from kindergarten, we should include some education about not only external thing, but internal basic human value. So these days I call the hygiene of physical, beside that, hygiene of emotion is very necessary. Like that. So through education, I think we can do something. So today's world, much problem is our own creation. This human being, nobody want a problem. But because of too much emotion, a lot of problem, including killing, with our own creation. So through prayer, cannot solve these things. Only through action. Action related with motivation. Then finally, I think this 21st century should be a century of peace, century of non-violence. That does not mean no longer any problem, but problem there. Then whenever we come across some problem, the method face that problem through non-violent way, through dialogue. So through education, we can change these things. We can achieve that kind of mental attitude through education. That's all. So I'm looking forward to hear or to see next few days some discussion. I really hoping to get some practical idea, and eventually I think this something like become worldwide movement. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Holiness. I'd like to now direct your attention to the monitor, and we will hear the remarks of Dr. Daniel Goldman.
Holiness, I'm heartbroken not to be there. Can you hear?
Yes.
It just came in, Dan.
Is the sound coming through, Brendan?
It's just coming in now, Dan.
Yes. Your Holiness, I'm very sad not to be there in person. My heart really said I should go, but my lung doctor said no. So I'm not there actually with you, but I'm here virtually. Some background. When I wrote Emotional Intelligence, that book, some 25 years ago, I argued for educating students' emotional and social skills. I was spurred then by the finding that when it came to students' problems like violence and drug abuse, depression, and dropouts, the programs that worked all cultivated the same basic skills: self-awareness, self-management, empathy, and social skills. All of these help kids make good decisions in their lives. A small group of us, including my friend and fellow speaker Linda Lantieri, founded the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning to spread an approach designed to help kids develop these life skills, what you've just called emotional hygiene. Today, it's become a worldwide movement known as social emotional learning, or SEL. There are many variations of SEL, some using full half-hour lessons, others embedding those lessons in the standard academic curriculum. The best are gauged to the cognitive and emotional level of students at each grade level. For instance, take making good decisions. At age 7, children might brainstorm what would help and what would hurt if they thought someone had taken a pencil. But at age 14, the same brainstorm is about a big problem in the States, how to say no to drugs and keep your friends. Research shows that these programs work. A study of 270,000 students found SEL lowers antisocial problems like fights and bullying by 10%, liking school by 10%, and it boosts academic achievement scores by 11%. A more recent study found an advantage of 14% in academic achievement. And these benefits last up to 18 years, which is the longest SEL students have been tracked down. Your Holiness, when I wrote A Force for Good, the Dalai Lama's vision for your world, for your 80th birthday, I came to see how SEL aligns with your mission of reaching the people of the 21st century with what you've called an education of the heart. The Emory C-Learning Framework represents just such an education of the heart. It adds to SEL several crucial skills that are largely missing from existing programs. These include attention training, care and compassion, systems learning, and the development of an ethical outlook. Take attention training. I was in an SEL classroom of 7-year-olds in a very poor neighborhood in New York City. They were very calm and focused. I asked the teacher why, and she said, "Watch this." Then they did something that they do every day. They each took their favorite stuffed animal. They found a place to lie down on a rug. They put that animal on their belly, and then they watched it rise on the in-breath and fall on the out-breath. Rise on the inhalation, fall on the exhalation. Count 1, 2, 3 in, 1, 2, 3 out. In other words, they were doing a 7-year-old's version of a kind of attention training, a meditation, you could say. This is an exercise in what scientists call cognitive control. Cognitive control strengthens the brain circuits that let you focus on one topic and ignore distractions. It's the same circuits that also decrease impulsive behavior. It makes a child ready to learn. In New Zealand, 1,000 children were assessed for cognitive control between the ages of 4 and 8 and tracked down again in their mid-30s. Cognitive control predicted their financial success and their health better than did their IQ and better than did the wealth of the family they grew up in. It levels the socioeconomic playing field. In addition, helping children cultivate compassion and discernment provides the foundation for C-learning. This combination of wisdom and compassion seems exactly what the world needs now and will need increasingly in the future. Scientists tell us that over the lifespan of today's children, the Earth will transform. Rising water levels will flood many coastal cities. The world's 4 major food crops, rice, wheat, soy, and corn, will no longer grow where they thrive today. In South Asia, here in India, there will be several days each year when high humidity and soaring temperatures will mean sweating no longer cools the human body. Many people will die. The me first ethic that has become so dominant in economics and society today will make these disasters worse. For the human species to survive, we will need an ethic of compassion and the skills of teamwork and collaboration more than ever. There's a saying, compassion without discernment is blind. Discernment without compassion is like a dried up fruit tree. I want to congratulate Your Holiness on this global launch of e-learning. It's the culmination of more than 20 years of academic collaboration between you and Emory University. My hope is that e-learning will be adopted far and wide and help more and more students far into the future. It represents the future of SEL 2.0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Goldman.
Thank you, my dear friend. Thank you.
We'll now hear some comments from Ms. Linda Lantieri.
Thank you, Your Holiness. I too am very sorry that I could not be with you in person. However, I have been very involved for the past couple of years now with C-Learning as an educational consultant, focusing particularly on the curriculum piece of this work. I'm filled with a lot of hope today, as I'm sure you are as well, for what might be possible for the children and teachers of the world. Over the next few days, the social, emotional, and ethical framework and curriculum will be launched. Many countries are involved. Many will be present in New Delhi. Others, thousands of others, will be live streamed and connected in that way. It's very, very exciting. And as Dan Goldman has mentioned, over the past 25 years, I too have been involved in a movement in education that is called social and emotional learning, or SEL. The research and the practice that we have learned from over 2 decades of doing this work in many, many schools will serve as such a fertile ground for C-learning to take hold. What is exciting, however, about this program is that it goes even deeper and further than we currently have ever gone in education of the heart in schools. In training the mind, C-learning does educate the heart. And a large component of C-learning is what Dan Goldman talked about, this thread